Hi guys, Peter Kalos here with Melbourne Actors Lab. Thanks for joining us. I want to talk to you guys today about improvising. It's one of the key tools that you can use as an actor, and yet many times it gets overused. I think one of the first mistakes people make is when they're improvising, they're doing it what I call for show and tell. You're doing it because someone's in the audience and you want to make them laugh. You're doing it because you're trying to say a funny line or you're trying to get some exposure. It's not that. Why we improvise is for you to find your own journey, your own connection to the words, okay? Writers improvise in their mind. Before a writer puts down the words, to be or not to be, you don't just come up with that. You think of the situation, you think of what's going on, you hear a character talking, you hear another character talking, you have that debate in your head, you might write it down a few times, and you narrow it down to what ends up on paper. What we do as actors is the opposite of that. We expand from the word to whatever we feel we can connect and kind of funnel through to the word to make that connection, right? Now, we're not doing it for the audience. We're doing it to communicate the message of the author to the other character. Another thing I tell people also is, a lot of people say, well, what should I improvise? One thing to improvise are events that are mentioned in the script, but aren't actually shown in the script. I'll give you an example. There's a play called, what's it called? Reasons to be Pretty, Neil LaBute, right? What happens is this: it starts in the middle of an argument, and it's about a party that the character, the guy, went to and called his girlfriend, I think it's Regular, something like that. We never see what happened in the party. And I always tell people, improvise the party. Improvise the day that you receive the invitation. Because if it's me and my wife or my girlfriend, which is the case in the play, if I receive the invitation, I said, darling, please, please come. I really want you to come to this party. She cannot accept because that's not in the script. So you have to go by the guidelines that are in the script. I can beg her to turn up and she can say, no, I can't. I'm really busy. In that discussion, she can ask me who's there. I can say no, and it'll just be a bunch of guys hanging out together. But when I get to the party, it's not just a bunch of guys. There's a few girls there, and so forth and so forth. So then when we do the actual scene, now it's different. I begged her to come. I cannot bring that up in the script because that's not in the script. But because I begged her and urged her, the lines come out differently. I have more leverage in the argument, as opposed to if I received the invitation and did not tell her about it, or did not invite her, or played it down, and she really wanted to come and say, oh, honey, don't worry about it. It'll be shit. It'll be boring. But then I get there and it's an exciting party. And on top of that, I called her Regular. That's very different. The entire direction of the script and how you feed the lines comes out differently. The other thing I tell people always, if there is an event in the script, act out that event. Now, if it's two people discussing an event that happened between them, like, us as a couple, or, we just picked up the kid from school, for instance, right? And something happening in that event, improvise it. Because what you're doing now is, next time someone says, hey, how was the pickup from the kid's school? I won't be remembering the lines on the script. I can literally visualize the lines on the top of page 9. I will remember the lines based on the actual improvisation that I did. If you're an amazing actor, you'll actually go to a school and either pretend to pick up your kid with the other person playing your spouse or whatever it is, right? The point is, you're taking the line off the paper and you're actually improvising the activity, the event that took place. And then what happens is you actually remember the situation. You actually remember who was there. You actually remember what was there. You actually remember what was said, what you were wearing, what you did. That way, when you say the line, your mind is on the event. And there's a less chance that you'll forget the lines because you're not just remembering the lines now. You're remembering what happened. You remember things that's spoken. And the lines kind of flow. It makes all the difference, which is different from the actor who's just working off the lines. And people say, what if the other actor doesn't want to improvise? Then you improvise. One of the most famous, probably the most famous improv scene, of course, is De Niro saying, "You're talking to me, you're talking to me," in Taxi Driver. That wasn't scheduled. That wasn't meant to be there. That was him, and I know they shot it at the tail end of the shoot. They were, running to leave out and the location manager said, "We're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here." But they sat there doing it. And if you see it again and again, you'll hear that he actually can hear in his mind the person talking to him. When he says, "You're talking to me," and then he says, "I'm the only one here," he actually hears it. So when you're doing an improv, even though there's no one there, I can hear, I can visualize in my mind's eye the person talking to me. And I always tell people, since we're not going to see that scene in the film, when I do an improv, not everything will be exactly how I want it. In that case, you keep what works for you and you cut out the rest. Keep what worked, that moment worked, that moment worked, that moment fed me, keep the rest. Now, when I do the scene with the actor, all that gravy from my improv is there, and then it will feed the way the moments come in. And I still got to take in their reaction. Don't forget, we're working with a person. We're responding and, off them, right? Sometimes also, the other thing I tell people is, look, you can do an improv 6 months before, or you can do it literally as we're filming, the camera's right there. I would do an improv here. I would do the improv while we're filming. And then just as about to do the say action, bang, I'm here. That way the gravy of it all is right here. It's not something that happened in my living room. People go, when they do, monologues or scenes for me, I say, "How was it at home?" They go, "It's amazing at home." So why it was amazing at home? You took your time, you improvised, you found the character, but you left the gravy there. It's good to have it all right here near you. That's how great actors work when they improvise. And you improvise in character, you improvise with your outfit as much as you can to treat it like it's real. Don't just piss it away trying to come up with clever lines and stuff like that. You're trying to find your connection to the words, and you're trying to see, what if I invited her to the party? What if I didn't? What if this happened? What if that happened? So then the words have different weight. Try it. Find key events in the character, or find key events. I always tell people, anything they talk about that didn't actually happen, improvise it, and with a really good actor and a really good director, you can keep some of those improvs and use them in the scene. Great way to work. You'll deliver a lot more than just what we call neck up, which is you remembering and thinking the lines. You can spot that a mile away. Hope this helps you. Take care. Talk again soon.